Hello and welcome to coverage of the 2025 Syracuse Open, sponsored by the Pies Guys. We've got round one coverage of MPO playing Clay West. I'm Stephen Bailey, the tournament director, joined by Luke Sakran.
Thank you, Stephen. Happy to be here. Looking forward to watching a lot of good shots from our competitors. Clay West is one of my favorite courses to play in the area.
Got a park-style course here for round one. There'll be 3 rounds in total. All coverage on Gatekeeper Media with Luke and myself. And we've got a great first card. Martin Hendel coming down from Canada. Runner-up a few years ago, Nathan Queen, the 2021 DGPT Championship winner, Evan Smith, and Luke. And you can see some other top names in our field here. They'll be competing for 2 USDGC spots and quite a bit of cash.
Get right into hole 1. You got about a 10-foot wide gap to hit going through it right now. That's about halfway down the fairway. It's only 262 feet. Most players are going to be throwing a putter or more of a soft mid-range. Martin on the box first. Just a smooth throw. Hits that gap no problem. Catches it a little tight on the left side of the gap, which is what you want to park the basket just like he did.
Not necessarily a natural lefty hole, but Nathan jumping in and getting some nice turn on his first drive of the day.
Catching a few leaves. Looks like he threw one of his star Colts.
And we've got Evan Smith making this gap look big.
That was a judge that he was throwing a lot of the day. Right on top of Martin's disc.
Yeah.
And a gap has never looked tighter.
Nothing like watching 3 top guys park a hole to start your tournament, huh?
Yeah, I hold on to that one just a little bit too long. Kick off to the right, but I get about pin high. Kind of flubbed the Anheuser putt here and leaving myself with more of a putt than I want to start with.
Great putt.
Yep, felt good to get that after all 3 of these guys are tapping in for birdie. Don't want to fall 2 strokes back on what's not really the easiest hole on the course, but they certainly made it look that way.
It's a nervy hole to start because you really got to get the timing just right. You know, if you're early or late on a right-hand, backhand shot, not usually getting through.
Martin being the nice guy, handing Evan his disc, but not the disc he wanted for the tap-in.
All right, moving on to hole 2. We've got a 232-foot par 3. I think you'll see a decent amount of putters again, maybe a little bit of hyzer flip to turn for right-hand, backhand, and another fun one for Nathan to try to shape. We got Martin.
Just a smooth swing for Martin. You're going to see that all throughout the day. A lot of flat, floaty shots with putters and mid-ranges.
Yeah, love how he controls the nose angle.
A little early there for Nathan. Kicks into a pretty rough spot. Anywhere on the left side of this fairway. It's hard to get into to throw your shot.
And Evan trying the forehand line, just a little bit overturned. That's a fairly tight gap.
These guys made it a little easier on me for the second hole. Instead of everyone puring it, only one guy got through. Made it look really big for me and get all the way down there to the basket.
Yeah, that's pretty much a textbook shot right there. And yeah, just a really tough spot for Nathan. I mean, there was not a ton more he could do there. Got to hit the gap off the tee if you want to score on this one for sure.
That's a great out from Evan. See him just peeking his head out there. He's pretty tucked in. Floaty bit from Nathan coming up a little short. He'll have a tap in bogey.
Got maybe a 28-footer here from Martin. Just a little low.
Yeah.
First real putt of the day.
Uncharacteristic for a player like Martin to leave that one low, but there is a bit of a drop off behind the basket, so you don't want to be airballing and going into the foliage right behind the basket there.
Yeah, you can definitely get a little roll as well.
Nice save from Evan.
And you get these guys guys back, huh? After those park jobs on one.
Yep, getting a stroke back on everyone. 2 on Nathan, unfortunately. I do still have to make my putt, but as you can tell, based on how we're talking.
Nice to have already made that 30-footer on one.
Yeah, this is a lot easier putt than the first hole. Got the nerves out of the way. I'm just finally on the board after the second hole. You got to get going early here on this course.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Especially when it's as calm as it is today. I mean, clay, the wind can certainly get up, but...
Yep, the conditions couldn't have been better. Early September in Syracuse, New York. And these are a great group of guys to play with. I really enjoyed talking with everyone, and it was a really nice round. So here in hole 3, 611-foot par 4. There's a football field on the right with a OB line kind of tapered in towards the edge of it. You're going to be throwing a lot of hyzers here, landing on this left side of the creek. I get mine out a little wide, but I'm in a pretty good landing zone, even though I'm a little pinched off behind that big bush there. This will be a forehand approach in.
Very large bush. That thing has grown quite a bit in the last few years, and for some of these guys, you can almost overthrow the tee shot and get a little too close to it, but Martin does not. I think that's a pretty good spot to be.
Evan's certainly one of those guys that could go a little bit too long. Gets good hold of this one. A little bit far right. And he is pushing a little bit deep. He's going to be pretty close to that bush, but he should have something over top.
What do you think that plays, like 450 or so?
It's on the higher side of 450, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a pretty flat shot, maybe a little bit downhill, so you can get there.
Or you can get there.
Thank you. And a nice shot from Nathan.
Yeah, nice to be off to the left there. He should have
he'll just have a
hyzer swing.
He'll just have a straight backhand in as the lefty.
Martin trying to get over the top, and he gets through. That's pretty grabby up there at the top, and yeah, you don't want to be in that stuff.
Just a easy backhand in for Nathan. Leaves it a little bit short. It is a blind shot, so you do have to trust the throw.
That looks pretty good from you. Oh, yeah. Doesn't get any better than that. And we have Evan potentially bringing in the power lines with a thumber, I believe.
Yeah, it leaves this one a little bit left. A little bit of plinko down to the ground, and he's just outside circle 2 or around the circle's edge for his birdie putt.
And we got Martin trying to give it a run, which he does, just a little right. And here's Evan from, maybe right around circle's edge, maybe just outside.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably got about 40 feet.
Yeah.
But no problem for him. Makes a nice birdie. Almost made the hole a little too difficult, getting close to that bush, but Evan's a very solid player.
Yeah, I think we saw he's got multiple Elite Series podiums this year, 3 A-Tier wins in his career. A lot of accomplished players here. And there's Nathan with a really nice putt to bounce back from his bogey on 2.
Martin jamming home his par putt. He's got such a unique putting stroke. Really holds it in tight to the waist and snaps it right at the basket.
Yeah, it's only ever going one place.
And a tap in for myself.
This coverage is brought to you by the Pies Guys, title sponsor of the Syracuse Open for its first 4 years. Reese and the Pies Guys team have been integral to the growth of the event since day one, providing lunch for all players and contributing to one of the largest pro purses in the Northeast. Stop in and chow down on their selection of brick oven pizza, fish fry, subs, and more. Or carry out your next meal. With 5 locations in central New York, including 4 in Syracuse, you're never far from a hot slice.
Moving on to hole 4, we got a 307-foot par 3 Left to right shot, right hand forehand plays pretty nicely. Left hand backhand probably plays best, just pushing up into this gap potentially. And here you are after 2 birdies in a row, and just a little inside.
Yeah, the disc wasn't feeling great in the hand, and probably should have stepped off and dried off my hand, but wanted to commit to the throw and came out a little early. Evan throwing a nice forehand shot. One angle hyzer, skipping right up to the basket. He'll have a easy look for his 2.
Nathan trying to follow those trails.
If there was ever a lefty hole on these courses, this is the one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you throw your forehand as hard as Evan does, it covers up maybe some of that natural gap. But yeah, textbook lefty shot.
And a real smooth backhand turnover from Martin. Just beating that last tree there in the fairway. That's blind off the tee. He'll have a nice look at the birdie.
Looks like you're going to have a pretty good chance to cover that up. That's a nice putt from Martin.
Yep, that's a good get, especially if you're a right-handed player opting for the backhand. This hole's a little tricky if you don't have the one angle forehand.
Yeah, played a little bit softer than it has in the past. We cleaned up the left side of the green coming into this weekend, so was happy to see a little bit more room for error over there. Not that these guys needed it.
About a 15-foot birdie there for Nathan. Getting on a streak here after his bogey on hole 2.
Yeah, took that in stride for sure. And yeah, there's no shortage of opportunities out here.
Moving on to hole number 5, 290 feet. Only one tree in the fairway to miss, so we just flew by it there on the right. But it shouldn't be a problem. You can usually go right over it. Backhand hyzer over that, or a straight shot just to the left.
Yeah, I'd say the real risk is leaving it short and having a bit of a death putt, which yeah, Evan doesn't really do.
In a bit of a tough spot there. Those trees are fairly guarded.
Yeah.
You can be 10 feet to the basket and not have a look if you go too far to the left.
Not a problem for Nathan. That should be just inside the circle.
Another smooth throw from Martin. Also leaking a little bit left. We'll see what he's left with on his putt. And just over that tree in the fairway, as I was explaining. Also leaking a little bit left, but not too close to those trees. Got Marty here lining up his putt. Oh, and gives it a good go. He did not have much, if I recall, looking back at that putt. Maybe a disc width window to make it through.
Yeah, a couple feet in either direction really makes a big difference over there.
Now, there is a drop off behind this basket, so Nathan's going to be taking his time here. Make sure he hits the basket, make sure it drops into the container.
Yeah, it's not hard to roll to 30, 40 feet going down there.
And he centers it, no problem.
Not a problem at all. I believe this is the tree you told him not to end up behind?
I did during the round. I said you don't want to end up behind these trees, and to prove a point, I put myself right there and did not have a straight-on putt. Had to kind of give it a floaty Anheuser bid, and lucky to hit the basket.
Yeah, Evan ended up with the best lie of the bunch over on the left side. That's 3 in a row for him. Definitely a sprint of a round 1. You're going to see players on many cards racking up the birdies today.
Yeah, I went a little bit past the basket, but not all the way down the hill. So I just gotta clean up my par, move on to the next hole, and get back to scoring.
Hole 6, we've got a par 4, 585 feet. You got an OB line right here, and players are going to try and put their drives down right around the mouth of this gap. And you can play high hyzer from there. You could potentially play a lower skip shot. So yeah, position shot off the tee, and then try and attack on 2.
Now, this played is one of the easier holes on the course in previous years. Evan not getting the memo. He puts it a little too far. He's gonna be pinched off in the bushes long. Nathan with a nice smooth backhand. Looks like it's gonna be hyzering out just in time. He also puts it a little bit long, but he should have a better lie than Evan. Evan seemed to penetrate it a little bit.
Martin trying to play it.
Good width from Martin.
Yep.
He's going to be looking at the gap. Pretty wide open. Just a backhand hyzer into the basket.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be. You don't need to push too much farther forward than that.
A little inside from myself. Lining up a big backhand hyzer here to get around those tall trees. I like it out of my hand. And just coming in a little bit short, but there are windows there to have a clean putt.
Was hoping you'd throw the grenade.
Unfortunately, there was a tree branch just in front of me that I definitely would have hit if I did try the grenade. Martin coming a little wide, not taking advantage of that really good placement that he had on his drive.
Yeah, and here you can see Evan really having to lay out just to get a swing.
And it gives it a pretty good rip. Maybe a little too hard and doesn't fight out of that Anheuser release. And Nathan with the rare forehand. Showing why it's a rare forehand.
Yeah, not the cleanest spot either, but I'm sure both of those guys would like to be a little closer for 3 on this hole. Oh, man.
I believe that was Evan from just inside the woods there.
Yeah, that was cooking.
Martin from a similar but closer spot, also chaining out just left.
Yeah, 2 really good bids from those guys. And that had to be 65, 70 feet from Martin.
Oh, just a little too high there for Nathan. He puts his head up. He knows he missed an opportunity there to pick up a couple strokes.
You're going to the forehand.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't land in a spot where I had much of a putt, so just a little forehand at the basket and pulled it a little bit.
It looks like we're going to have some pars on hole 6 going into probably maybe the hardest 3-hole stretch on the course and 3 longer par 3s in 7, 8, and 9, particularly 8 and 9. So we'll see if you guys can get back on track.
Yeah, not ideal for our card here to not pick up any birdies, but nobody made too much of a mess to where we're really losing strokes and taking bogeys. It can come quick if you go into the woods here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since I threw my first Frisbee, I dreamed of making flying discs. Now, whenever a customer wants their own course, stamp, or brand, I do everything I can to help make their dreams come true. Gateway Disc Sports, an open invitation.
And coming into hole 7 here, 415 foot, slightly downhill shot, thrown out of a tunnel with an OB ditch behind. Now, there is OB on the right as well, splitting the 2 fairways from hole 6 and hole 7. Looking at just throwing some kind of a fairway driver flat through this gap here and Evan, a little high and right and catching a bad kick. He's going to be pretty deep into the left side rough.
That is the abyss, unfortunately. And Nathan using all of the fairway. This is not an optimal lefty backhand hole. I would challenge anyone to get closer than that.
No, that was his play coming into the round. I was talking to him about it. He just wanted to test that left side rough there and give himself a putt on the right side of the basket, and he did exactly that. Martin coming up just a little bit short. He's had about a 45, 50 footer, but with the OB right behind, you might not want to run it too hard.
Yeah, and he might still be a little pinched left.
A little bit early out of my hand, similar to a few holes ago. The disc just wasn't feeling right in my hand. I didn't step off to dry, and I'll be paying the price in there in that hazard with Evan.
Evan substantially deeper in there than you, though.
I think we might have just missed his first shot. He did throw one that didn't make it much farther in front of him, and then unfortunately on that forehand roller he does catch the OB. And with that in mind, I made sure to leave my forehand roller out a little bit short.
Yeah, that's a nice scramble from you there.
Well, the amount of times that I've done exactly what Evan did, I did not want to be doing that during this tournament.
Yeah, easy to do with a faster disc. And we got Nathan maybe 40 feet or so.
Yeah, a little stepper, nice birdie for the lefty.
Yeah, he's been right on the pole. Just a little high there on 6 and makes a really nice correction there.
Unfortunate double bogey there for Evan, catching the OB on his second attempt out of the bushes on the left.
Yeah, and that's a hard spot to find. I think if he doesn't, hit leaves coming out of the gap, you almost can't get that far left, but the way it deflected, it just, left him in a really, really bad spot. Maybe the worst spot on the course.
And a couple pars for myself and Martin. Mine might feel a little bit better with the scramble. Martin probably wishing he got that one.
And we are moving on to hole 8. Another par 3, 426 feet, and a little bit uphill. Looking for probably a right-hand backhand flex shot or big forehand. And Nathan can try and attack here and get something to move right toward the end.
The backhand righty roller also can come into play, but this grass is pretty lush today. We'll see if anyone on our card goes for that line.
Would have liked to see Martin give that a shot. He's got a mean roller game.
Yeah, instead it looks like he leaned on a halo wraith there that he throws quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a great shape from you, getting the full flight.
Yeah, it's a fun shot to throw. Just hang it out left and let it sweep in to the right, and got myself a circle's edge putt.
Evan just obliterating a forehand.
And he does get a little bit over on it. He's going to have a look from over there, but well outside the circle.
Yeah, close to pin high. And Martin giving it a bid.
Yeah, why not? He's got great touch and such a smooth putter game, as I've mentioned.
Yeah, the nose-up putter shot from him is so impressive.
Some leaves to contend with here for Evan. Not quite as clean of a look as you would like.
Yeah, just a little overturned with that drive. Nathan kind of getting stuck behind this tree a little bit. See if he can work around it. Just low. And you get a clean look.
And left it just a little bit low. I was considering whether I was in or out of the circle. We didn't have anything marked, and Nathan gave me the okay to be outside the circle, and I didn't give it that little extra jump and come up just a bit short.
Yeah, I think you were slightly outside as well. A little bit of a high basket too, but Getting 8 is definitely a bonus. And nothing wrong with some 3s from our card here.
And the last hole on our front 9, hole number 9, 412 foot, par 3 with a about 380 foot gap to hit down here in the fairway. Shapes well for a lefty to lay up to the opening of that gap. You got OB left, same ditch from hole 7, and OB tennis court on the right, but that doesn't really come into play. And a nice straight drive here from Nathan. Get a nice little kick at the end, keep him out of the bushes on the right.
Yeah, it's probably mid-circle 2 or so.
Marty with that halo wraith again. Swinging into the gap here and just coming up a little bit short. Oh, but he sneaks through.
Green being very kind to our first 2 players.
Coming in with some angle here, and there was a little bit of a wind, a crosswind, so I put it on too much angle, didn't give it a chance to come out, but I should have a look into the green from that right side short.
You get the right to left here?
Right to left wind, yeah.
Yeah.
Evan coming up on the left side of the green here. There's opportunities to get out. He won't have a putt, but should have no problem getting a 3 and walking away. Going over the top for myself, and pretty good result. Probably about 10 feet right of the basket, but I am still obstructed with my putt.
Yeah, good out.
Yeah, and I think Evan just had a little bit of a hyzer pitch out there.
Very clean look for Nathan here. Let's see if he can capitalize.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's settling in now.
That's a great birdie to get. Not many birdies on the day on this hole.
Man, that pitch putt, when it's going, it looks automatic.
Putting with the alpaca and making it look like a disc everyone should be putting with.
Nice, Martin.
And a nice 2 from Martin as well. That's 2 2s in 1 card. That's pretty impressive. And myself chaining out on my putt. Didn't have the cleanest of looks and had to putt it pretty hard to get through the window I had. And could have stuck, but it didn't. Be walking away with my first bogey of the day.
And we've got Evan clearing up his par. That will do it for the front 9. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see our scores here momentarily. Nathan really bouncing back from that bogey on 2 to get the 5 down. And everyone else kind of chasing him. Braden Sides with a 7 down. A couple 6s from Andrew Miranda and Cal Longquist. And many 4 and 3 down players. So it's going to be an exciting battle all through the weekend. We've got all 3 rounds here. So be sure to subscribe and tune in for our next video will be the back 9 here.